Hi guys, so today I'm doing a unboxing video of my Lo Scarabeo little haul. I just enjoy opening these with you all because I just find it really exciting. Right, so I'm going to leave a list of all of these decks down in the description box below, and a link to Lo Scarabeo's website as well. Now, I'm not affiliated with them at all, okay? I just absolutely love their decks, the quality of the decks, quality of the print, just everything about Lo Scarabeo. Is just beautiful, right? So I haven't opened this box yet, okay? It's literally only just been delivered. I'm keeping it this way down because they've written my full name on the other side. I have taken off all the tax information and the delivery stuff, but they've written my name in a massive black pen actually on the cardboard on the other side. So I'm just going to leave it flat down, right? And we are going to open this up together and I will show you all of these lovely decks. Right, so can I pull it? No, I'm not going to get it that way. Okay. Usually you can just reach in and pull out the flap, but this particular flap is quite far down, so I'm not actually able to get my whole hand in. Right, okay, so, oh, that's why, because they taped the flap down. Right, that's why I couldn't pull it. Okay, so we have got 3 new decks here, and I'm going to be using these throughout my readings. Okay, so let's get acclimatized to these decks before you actually see them being used in a read. And I know that some of my viewers as well, they like the look of the decks and they're like, oh, I'll go buy myself a copy of that one. So yeah, it helps out you deck collectors that are out there, and I know that there's a few of you out there. It's going to help you out as well because you get to see the cards before you actually make your own purchase. Right, so the thing with Lo Scarabeo, I will say, do not expect any unnecessary packaging, okay? So any unnecessary fluff, you're not going to get that in your packaging with them. They are very, they're straight shooters, okay? We've got a little card there that says thank you, loscarabeo.com. I'll hold that up just in case anyone wants to know what the website is, and if I haven't, for whatever reason, if I haven't managed to put it in the description yet, okay. It's right there. Now, the first one, this is the one that I'm really, really excited for, the Surrealist Tarot. Now, I actually saw this on W.H. Smith website. I don't know if you get W.H. Smith across the pond. I do believe that it's a British company. Let me just reach over here a second. And I thought, that deck looks absolutely incredible. It's very, very unusual. And, I mean, the name of it, I think the name of it is a little bit of an understatement. It's, well, I'll show you. I will show you. It's hard to describe. It's like, you know, when you have these really random dreams and you're seeing all of these weird shapes and forms in these dreams and you're like, what the hell was that? That's this deck, right? Like, it's really, really bizarre. Right, so let's just open this one up for you. I can feel my little cat is about to visit. She's currently being a shoulder cat. Hey, Destiny. How you doing, baby? I think it's the crinkly papers that she's interested in. Right, so you don't tend to get big books as well with the Lo Scarabeo decks. What you tend to get is these types of paper leaflets, which is great. I mean, it's fine. It does its job. Okay, so for your Surrealist Tarot, you've got your Merkaba cubes on the backs of them. The cardstock is quite good. I mean, I do tend to manhandle my decks quite a lot, and they do tend to get tattered up really, really quickly. I don't honestly think that this particular deck is going to last me a very long time without it looking worn and tattered. Do you know what I mean? Because as I say, it's just with the way that I shuffle and the fact that I use my decks like literally every single day, day in, day out. So yeah, this one is definitely, it's going to take a beating. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Right. So what was I on about with the types of illustrations with this deck? Isn't that freaky? So this is their depiction of the Fool. And my initial reaction when I first saw this deck was like, wow, number one, that's so unusual, but also you can get really, really intuitive with it. Like ridiculously intuitive. That is so far removed from the traditional version of the Fool. He's literally got a boot on a stick, you know, and he's standing, instead of standing on a cliff, he's standing on the very peak of what looks to be a pyramid. Do you know what I mean? So that Fool, in my opinion, has got a much different meaning behind the traditional Fool. The pyramids, the symbology of the pyramids for me indicates deep knowledge for one, but also the challenges that you've already been through, right? So for me, this particular Fool is someone who is in the middle of a really challenging time right now, and they're kind of hoping that other people would see things from their point of view. You know, that very much reminds me of what if the boot was on the other foot type thing. Do you know what I mean? It could also be flipped as well. It's like they could be trying to imagine what someone else is going through or what someone else has been through. You know, like what if the boot was on the other foot sort of thing. And then, of course, you've got all of this strange symbology that's going on there. I mean, like literally for one card, you could sit there for an hour. Do you know what I mean? Just really looking at it and coming out with new, wonderful, strange meanings behind these cards. That's why I love this deck. As soon as I seen it, I was like, yeah, that is a deck that really, really pulls me in. Again, because I am an intuitive reader, and symbology for me, super, super important, really important. So, again, like look at that Empress, you know, so far removed from traditional tarot, and I feel that that's what a lot of us need as well, especially for us readers. You know, we're reading tarot day in, day out. We're needing new inspiration. We're needing our minds and imaginations stretched and opened up a little bit more. So, you know, to step away from the traditional meanings and traditional depictions, I can only see that as a positive. And I'm pretty certain that any deck collector out there would absolutely love this deck. Like for real, it's one of them where you'd never get tired of it. You know, you'd never get bored because it's just so rich in imagery and symbology. Like, so the Wheel of Fortune is the card that they use for their box. Again, Wheel of Fortune. It's like for you. Yourself, how does that work into the Wheel of Fortune? So you see what I'm saying? And every single one of you is going to have a much different answer. Every single one of yous. Strength. I don't know if this is a pip deck yet. Hanged Man. Death. Temperance. The Devil. I love that Devil. I really do. That's like the elites in society pulling everyone's strings. The Tower. The Star. The Moon. The Sun. Is a fried egg, sunny side up. I love it. It just appeals to my sense of humour as well. And Judgment. The World. It is not a pip deck. It's a fully illustrated deck. Even better. So the imagery just keeps on going and going and going. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, you can expect for me to use this deck quite regular on my channel. Okay. It's beautiful. So that's the Surrealist Tarot. That was the major one that I went direct to Lo Scarabeo for. Okay, so your next one, we're going to do the Law of Attraction Tarot. Again, another brilliant deck. And from what I could make out from the information online was same deal as the Surrealist Tarot. Quite different from the traditional depictions that you normally find in like Rider-Waite decks, like quite different from that. Based off of it, but from what I could make out, very loosely based off of it. Okay, right, so let's take a look again. You get it's not a book that they come with, it's more leaflety type. Right. Okay, so you get the usual little extra card. I don't know about anyone else, but see, with these extra cards that come with your decks, I keep them for bookmarks. They're very handy for that. Right, so on the back of the Law of Attraction deck is 2 keys, the sun and all the planets. Beautiful. The card stock is thicker. It's thicker than the Surrealist Tarot. And I know it's difficult to see that, so you are going to have to take my word for it. It's thicker cardstock, but not too thick. Do you know what I mean? Not thick enough to the point where you're not going to be able to shuffle properly. That's like comfortably thick. And this deck, I can honestly say this deck is going to withstand the test of time more than the Surrealist Tarot would. Definitely, even with the way that I shuffle and manhandle my decks, like that's how different that card stock is. That is legit going to stand the test of time. Feels so much stronger. So with your Fool, this one is a jester with a cat. Lovely. Oh, there's another spare card. Okay. Now this is where this deck gets interesting, because it's not actually written on what these cards are. Okay, so that would be your Magician. Again, very different depiction of the Magician. It looks like he's hammering a boot into a stick. So he's fixing that shoe then. He's a cobbler. So the Magician is depicted as a cobbler. That's interesting, because what are shoes used for? I mean, same as what we saw with the Fool with the Surrealist deck. Shoes are to protect your feet when you're having long journeys, right? So that particular Magician is someone who is quite possibly very knowledgeable, very well travelled. Yeah, again, you can go really deep with the messages that come from these decks. Number 2, so that would be the High Priestess. Again, really different. It looks like she's standing on a chessboard. Okay. Number 3, so that one would be the Empress with the shield. That's the Emperor. It's the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot. This one is a winged chariot. It's beautiful. I think that really emphasizes the speed of the Chariot energy, because oftentimes I don't feel that the speed of that energy comes through very well in some decks. And the message about the drive, the passion and the willpower, I often find that that doesn't always come through with a lot of decks. I feel it with this one though, especially with that red and orange that's going on as well. You know, it looks like what it is. Do you know what I mean? That's an interesting one, because that's not strength. So what they've done is they've changed positions here with strength and justice, because that's the scales. I'd need to refer to the actual book there a minute, but that looks like justice to me, not strength. The Hermit looks like a Buddhist monk. Your Wheel of Fortune. That's a nice version of the Wheel of Fortune. And there you go, there's strength. So they have switched places in this deck. Now some decks do that. The last deck I had that did that was the Kim Cran's Wild Unknown. Her deck switched places as well, with the justice and the strength. I can't remember the reason behind why some decks do that, but some of them do. It's just my cat going absolutely crazy. So with this one, that's going to be the Hanged Man, and it's someone literally walking on a tightrope. Death is a butterfly coming out of its chrysalis, which is beautiful. That is singularly the most perfect version of the Death card energy. It absolutely is. The old version of you needs to die so that something new can be born. I think that is spot on. I mean, this deck has got a lot of things right. And then you've got Temperance, the Devil. Interestingly enough, this particular devil's holding a paint palette and a brush. And he's sitting on like a tower of skulls. So again, you can really let your imagination go wild with this deck. The Tower, it feels a lot less destructive. This one feels like, it feels more like an uncomfortable set of circumstances that you can still actually rebuild from. You know, it feels less permanent, less devastating than the traditional depiction of the Tower. The Star, obviously. The Moon. The Sun. The Sunset in this deck. Judgment. A four-winged angel for Judgment. And the World. Literally putting in that last piece of the puzzle. How cool is that? Again, this one is not a pip deck. It is fully illustrated. Okay. And then it goes on and on and on. Absolutely beautiful. Right. So I will give that one a read later on. And we are going to check out the third and final deck, which is not a tarot. This one is an oracle. And it's called Visions of Duality. Okay. So let's get this off quickly. I'll try not to keep you guys for much longer. Okay. Visions of Duality, and they've called it the Inspirational Deck. Of course, there's more plastic. Right. Okay, there we go. That plastic was quite hard to get off. Right, card stock. Surprisingly thin, actually. If you want me to be completely honest, surprisingly thin. I reckon under regular use that again, that would get quite tattered quite quickly. Right, so there's your reverse pattern picture. Okay, and you've got the many faces of nature, reasons of the heart, visions made prophecies, scales of reciprocity, burden of creativity, the gilded cage of possibility, the threshold, under a sky of random fortunes, coming of age, facing the shadow, depths of potential, call of the wild, the spark that dreamt of fire, clothes for the psyche, the temple of learning, the river of time. I mean, look at how these cards are illustrated. Again, beautiful, beautiful artwork. Absolutely beautiful. And again, full of imagery, symbology, full of really deep intuitive messages when you sit with the cards and give yourself time to really feel out what these messages are trying to convey to you. Absolutely beautiful. Sins of the flowers. That's an interesting one. Healing, birth, hope, worth, care, trust, violence, death, despair, emptiness, neglect, and betrayal. So if you couldn't already tell, this deck is in actual fact a shadow working deck. So this deck is gonna come out infrequently in the public reads, but for anyone who books a shadow work read with me, you might see this deck coming out quite a lot. Okay, it's all to do with shadow work and how you can really help uplift yourself. So for example, the advice on sins of the flowers: do not do anything that you're ashamed of, and do not be ashamed of anything that you do. You know, so it is duality, like literally. This one here: beware of too strong passions, as often they carry a lie within themselves. And that's for Raw is my heart card. Notice the miracles all around you. Stop for a second and savor the wonder. Sense of wonder versus fear of the unknown. So that's for anyone who's afraid to take the necessary risks in life, afraid to make mistakes, afraid to make the quote-unquote wrong decision. You know, that would then be your card, the furthest shores. Take the risk and be okay with whatever happens. You know, the sense of wonder and excitement of starting something new versus the fear of the unknown. So the fear of the unknown stopping you from, you know, being excited about the future. Yeah, I can honestly see that deck being very much needed within my shadow work reads. Beautiful. But yeah, that is the Lo Scarabeo mini haul. I do hope that you enjoyed watching me unbox those 3 new decks. And yeah, all the information I'll leave below. Before I forget though, I will say the prices on these right before we go. Okay, so your Surrealist Tarot, that was the freaky dream style one, the Surrealist one. That one was €25, which converts into £21.72, which is $26.36. Your Visions of Duality, that one was €17.50, which is £15.21, or $18.46. And then your Law of Attraction, that one was €25, which is £21.72. £21.72, which is also $26.37. Right. And these were shipped direct from Italy as well. So the shipping was €19.50, which is £16.94, which makes that $20.57. And the total for all three, with the shipping included, was €87, which is £75.59, or $91.78. The whole thing, it took 1 week to be delivered straight from Italy to the UK. It only took 1 week. Okay. So yeah, you can expect really quick shipping when you buy from Lo Scarabeo directly, like really quick. I was quite impressed with how quickly that arrived, considering it had to clear customs and everything else as well. So yeah, I'm really happy with that little haul, and hopefully some deck collectors out there, or just anyone who has an interest in different decks and different tarot. I mean, hopefully one of these would have piqued your interest. But yeah, I'll leave that one there. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you in the next readings. Okay, bye.